Cool.
Oh my gosh.
We are
Looney Tunes back in action featuring Brendan Fraser. Love to see it.
featuring Brendan Fraser. Sadly, he couldn't make it today, so we only have us three mediocre actors at best.
Featuring Brendan Fraser, but he's not here.
Yeah, our first big cameo appearance unfortunately fell through.
Yeah.
Wishing him all the best.
Yeah.
Sending love to Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, good.
welcome to Home Sweet Homebrew. As always, I'm Jurian.
I'm Matt.
And at least according to a review of my peers, my name is Aria.
Yep.
According to the New York Times.
Yeah.
According to all the juicy gossips in New York. But yeah, today, finally, just so y'all know a little behind the scenes, we haven't recorded an episode in literal months, and we're finally up in here.
Month.
I mean, I guess I recorded an episode last week with the guest Lilith, but we're over here, and we're excited to talk about a bunch of stuff. Today's subject, we've decided, and by decided, I mean I said it, and we're doing it because I'm the master of this ship, and I will not stand for bullying anymore. Hell.
You can be listen, if you being the master of the ship makes you feel better, all power to you.
Yeah.
It just means that if you crash, you're the one who did it.
Yeah, it just means if we crash, we can pawn it off on you.
But yeah, today decided I
Social climb.
wanted to speak about hell because in my own campaign, Meteor's Heart, which Aria and Matt are part of, I know.
We ran a campaign together?
Oh my god.
We've already mentioning Meteor's Heart before the 3-minute mark?
Oh my god. So, I had my own version of hell, and I thought, I'd talk about, like, the hell I made and why I made it and stuff like that in hope that maybe it'll inspire people or just in general make people understand why I can't be bothered to read the DMG. Literally the entirety of my D&D campaign is just me refusing to read the actual rules and making my own shit up. It's pure chaos.
Listen,
and you wonder why you enable Matt and Ember so much.
The podcast is not raw, sweet, raw, okay?
Raw, sweet, raw!
This is not what we're here for. This is not what we do.
It is absolutely what we do now.
I mean, yeah, these days.
Listen, the vibe has turned sour. So,
It has gone south.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. I can't wait for that joke to be explained.
If ever.
So, for context, as I feel like I say this sentence at least 3 times per episode. Meteor's Heart, my campaign, characters at some point had to get a very powerful soul or heart or core of a creature in order to fashion a god-killing bullet. Does that sound stupid? Good. Welcome to D&D. Welcome to Meteor's Heart. Welcome to my life. And so they decided that, wow, a lot of things sure are bringing us to hell. And so they decided to go to hell to accomplish the 5 to-do list tasks they wrote down.
We had some errands to run, and it was along the on the way.
It's like get milk, get beer, save the soul of the damned of my childhood best friend that got killed in this very stupid way. Die. So yeah, I guess the 2 very important characters of that arc are actually right the fuck here. It's Aria, who is Dawn, the tiefling rogue warlock, and Matt, Henrik,
the
which is
tree.
my character, which is the monk
battle
druid
thing.
Which I would like to, instead of calling the monk druid, I would like to call the stunning strike deployer.
Yeah, stunningstrike.exe.
I'm not calling Fennec a monk druid. I'm calling him a bark.
Yeah, bark.
Angry about it.
My favorite, I think it was Dan who said this first. A druid monk is Spruce Lee. I think that's really funny.
That's so Dan. That's such a Dan pun.
I'm not a big pun person, but that one got me.
Dan is an ex-player. He's not dead. He's just not in the game. He's well and alive. We love you. Anyway, so
Pour one out.
just okay.
He's not dead, but just
yeah.
So anyway, because in my universe, the Raven Queen is the goddess of death and whatever, and she doesn't reside in the Shadowfell because don't question it.
That's
just follow
too
along.
easy.
She lives in limbo because she basically takes care of, like, I guess, the entrance of hell. And so our dear Dawn wanted to see that sweet Raven Queen action because of reasons.
Yeah, extreme soul searching, incredible depression, and a martyr complex.
Yeah. Tuesday.
That is just, you know what? That is Meteor's Heart in a nutshell. Listen, when you enter Meteor's Heart, I give you a choice. It's either you have a martyr complex or survivor's guilt. Choose which one.
One of the two.
Or both.
Or both. Welcome, Fennec. And then talk about Fennec, the Sprucely, who had his childhood best friend killed by a certain absolutely wonderful personage.
According to Luna.
And then that he got given the soul, but he had to retrieve the body, which he had to go through the entirety at the bottom of hell, which is the abyss for me. I swear I'll go through it later. To get that. And then during that whole trip, they also destroyed and killed a very lovable devil and made some wonderful friends.
Did you call Dennis lovable?
No, I've said it's Ragnus.
Okay.
He had some redeeming qualities, I guess.
Dennis had a redeeming quality of being absolutely a dork.
Yeah, fuck Dennis.
Of course. He got fucked.
Anyways, this is not just a Meteor's Heart recap show.
So yeah,
I think that's probably what we're
are
here
you
to
sure
talk
about it? Because episode 1 through 9 would beg to differ. So I guess 1, 2, 3.
I think we're broadly here to talk about
Hell.
creating your own cosmology and kind of using what the DMG offers
double
as
hockey
a jumping
sticks,
off
it's
point.
fine.
Specifically, basically, I'm just talking alone, and then I get some commentary about the terrible choices I've made. So the reason why I made my own version of Hell is because I don't like how Hell is in the normal world, like the normal world, our world. No, in the DMG. Like I'm not a huge fan of everything Hell related or plane related being in 50 different planes. Like the 9 Hells is pretty good because it has like all the layers, you know, the 9 ones. But I just thought it to be a bit too complex. Like if you can have a full adventure in each layer of Hell, that's a bit too much to me. So, having played the game Hades, shout out to Supergiant Games, and discovering more about the underworld, I decided to, and then also informing myself about Dante's Inferno, I decided to make my own version of Hell that was kind of, I guess, both inspired. So I just had the 7 layers, which was Limbo, which is just, you know, Land of the Undecided for people who have ever... For people who read Dante's Inferno, you literally just know what I'm going to talk about. Then I had another one that was a Circle of Lust and Gluttony. I had the Circle of Greed and Wrath.
The fun ones.
Of course. I had the Circle of Violence, Heresy, and Fraud.
Also the fun ones.
I had the City of Devils.
Also fun.
The Circle... Yeah, of course. The Circle of Traitors.
The most fun.
And the Abyss, which was... the Abyss, which basically is the origin of Hell, to me. Instead of being a different plane. It is across the river Styx. So... Yeah. And my players adored going through Hell. Wait, it took, 5 sessions or something?
Oh gosh, how long were we in there?
Hell was
for?
at least 5.
At least 5.
So basically, so Dawn met the Raven Queen and had to go to Limbo, and then the Raven Queen basically said you have to go through Hell all the way to the Abyss to get to somewhere specific, to have this ritual done.
Yeah, and then you can prove yourself to be my champion.
Basically.
And all that.
So they had a session with just arrive in Limbo, arrive in front of the Raven Queen Kingdom. Then they went through the Raven Queen's Kingdom and absolutely wrecked the Shadow Dragon. Then they got flown to the city and spent...
You say wrecked, like didn't Fennec die during that?
No one died.
Well, not died. Didn't
Luna
go down?
almost. I believe Luna almost.
Okay.
Which fight was that?
The Shadow Dragon fight. I thought like 3 people got downed, right?
No. We actually handled that pretty well.
Yeah, and then they got flown all the way to the city that is basically the capital of Hell, which wonderful. They spent a full session in this.
Got scammed.
We got mugged in an alleyway. That was fun.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I love how you all went through a dungeon, killed a gigantic Shadow Dragon boss, then went into a city and got mugged in Halley without a single long rest and still destroyed everything.
Yeah.
Fun. My campaign is power play, and it's not because I wanted it to be. Then you went through the city.
I cast Thunderwave, which is basically anytime that happens, it's 45 minutes of talking about rules and me complaining about dice rolls.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a factor.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What I'm saying,
just say
Jurian, is
battle?
if I knock them away, does it break the grapple?
I don't understand how me moving away from them is different than them moving away from me. I just don't understand.
I don't actually have sleep apnea. I just spend the entire night going.
Thunderwave. Higher level casting.
It's just my
Spell
brain
slots.
processing it. Dreams
Yeah.
are supposed to be the process of the day. Just me thinking about when you go like, does it break the grapple, Jurian? And I'm like,
Does it break the
so yeah.
Applied laws of physics.
Went through hell and then went through, very quickly went through like the circle of violence, heresy, and fraud because they basically dominated the devil.
That was tight.
That was cool.
If I did video editing, that would be when I zoomed in my face. And then just bypassed all that, went into Frigidum, which was basically like a glacial hell. Had a very
Hell
lovely
frozen.
time.
Sure did.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
great. I sure loved maiming all of my friends.
Yeah.
And being traumatized.
Yeah.
The best part about that session was when it was over and we could
the
all
ending,
cry
when
together.
It was over and I went
That
to
was
bed.
great.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the best part.
We all just smoked weed and cried.
Yeah,
It was great.
Literally.
I feel a man's guilt. And then they finally,
I
and then they
feel a
spent, I
woman's
believe,
guilt.
about 2 sessions in the abyss, and then just like really wreck shit. And then that was it. They just went back to the surface with no consequences and everything to gain.
Yes, God.
You forgot about the part where we were in hell, constantly getting annihilated by hell things, constantly being betrayed and being taken control of by hell things, and then at our angriest point of the hell things, you gave us things that we can't kill and that we're supposed to feel bad about killing.
Yeah.
And then I killed them.
I love the
It
I
sure
love
was hell.
I love
Yeah.
putting in. I absolutely adore using situations like this where it's like, hey, I know you're an adventurer, and all the rules are saying basically, here's how to kill things. Let me just show you why you shouldn't and why you should feel bad about it, because the world is not all murders. I love doing
Well.
that shit.
It could be.
I mean, I'm just
That was
saying. I love doing
Y'all know
that
me.
shit. Something satisfying about that. But yeah, now that I've
Hell.
just rambled way too much about my own campaign, just absolutely blowing smoke out of my ass. I'm just so amazing,
It's just been 15 minutes of Jurian just masturbating
Yeah.
on a YouTube video.
on camera.
Self-flagelating.
I'm just saying, there's gonna be an annotation that's gonna appear on the screen, a little card that's gonna link to my camgirl link.
Very good.
I do every Saturday
Saturday.
at 5 p.m.
Hey, derailing from the OnlyFans conversation, I just realized this is my second campaign I've had in hell
Wow.
that's actually ended up going to hell.
Damn.
Because the other one that was short, it only went like 6 sessions. We actually were at the bits of the very start of the game.
Oh,
We all
tight.
got sucked there in a calamity with an entire town.
Wow.
Kind of like Baldur's Gate-esque, except we all got split up and just strewn around the abyss. And the whole point of the game was survive the abyss and get out.
Interesting.
Survive the abyss and get out. I don't feel like the get out
It
is
was
going to be a
climb
very
the
easy
abyss.
one.
This just sounds like
The
an
goal
8-hour
was
shift at
climb
work.
the abyss.
That seems fun, actually.
It was super
dope.
fun.
But yeah. Now to go more into like the actual technicality of why. I'd already mentioned I hate the fact that like everything is separated. There's something so much better about basically making a tower for your players to go through.
I love me an arena gauntlet.
A good gauntlet.
I
We
love me an arena gauntlet.
I love Gauntlet on that
classic.
console that's old. Is it the Atari? I don't remember what Gauntlet is on.
What are you talking about?
The video game. Gauntlet.
I don't know.
I sure know what you're talking about.
I'm not
Are
a
you
gamer
kidding
girl.
me? Oh my god. Uncultured. It's a very old video game that's basically just whatever. Yes.
I edit videos of video games for money, and I don't know what that is.
I live in the woods. I don't know what that is.
You are the woods. Don't act over here as if you have a
Seriously.
fucking physical body. The drawing I did of you in that video is just so people won't be weirded out by the fact that you're just an entire forest.
Yeah, I have no actual corporeal form.
That's why- that's
in
why-
real life, I am just whispers of wind in between leaves, which then through a microphone translates to human speech.
And that's why we weren't able to upload the Sorcerer episode.
Right,
As
right,
soon as we
right.
started
Oh.
uploading you to YouTube, everything caught fire.
Sylvanas? Is that you?
That's me, baby.
Oh my god, can you just throw me an orange? Meteors are a reference. I swear,
Hey,
this
hey,
podcast is only entertaining
Hey,
to
Sylvanas,
anyone
can you
who's
throw me a
been
Capri Sun?
in Meteors Heart.
I can do a
but yeah.
70.
Not to go out of subject too much, even though that's every episode. I wanted to make a more, I guess, linear level of hell because it's way better than just tell your players, hey, choose one of the 60 different layers of
Yeah.
anything you want, and let's have a very boring 10 sessions. And so instead I just went like, let's just go through hell with like different like places, with different dangers, with different creatures. Like, let's just throw all the ideas at the same time and let's just see what sticks and going through it. And then I guess pretty much everything stuck. I would
Jurian.
say certain more than other. What?
I gotta say, I disagree. I think that having all the different versions of Purgatory and D&D being the bottom 3 chaotic planes mostly is actually really, really good for the world of D&D.
Perhaps. I guess I will absolutely.
Specifically,
Go
I
ahead.
think it's because all of them serve a different purpose of hell. For example, the 9 hells is just classic hell.
Mm-hmm.
The Abyss and Pandemonium are completely different hell mythoses. It allows you to pick and choose which one will suit your setting the best. And I actually very much appreciate that. It's like how there are different versions of heaven, depending on what your character lived or the story that you're going to be doing. Not every heaven in every game is going to be Elysium. Maybe it might be the Beast Wilds or the Beastlands for one of your characters.
Valhalla.
I think having the different versions of hell is actually super, super useful.
Yes. I can definitely understand, and I will, in my next campaigns that include planes and everything as like a major thing, I mean, we'll probably talk about it at some point. I definitely want to stick a bit closer to what the book says about planes, but for Meteor's Heart...
Meteor's Heart's weird, though.
Yeah, Meteor's Heart doesn't have... It's getting better in terms of like free... like more free exploration, because you can decide where you go. Like, y'all couldn't have gone to hell and that would have made something else, but my world basically builds itself with what you want to do. So when you decide to go to hell, I was like, might as well just make a nice personal hell that feels also,
Oh, you sure did.
Oh boy,
Oh.
did you ever.
That sucks.
okay, did it suck or did it?
It sucked, but it was supposed to.
Yeah, it was
hell.
supposed to suck.
Great, great.
You accomplished your goal.
Yeah.
You made us miserable.
You designed
For
a good
a
hell in the sense that I
for
hated
a-
every
made
second
the
I was
characters
there.
miserable.
For a second, I was convinced that this podcast episode was going to be the day where, like, y'all just go like, oh, we're talking about hell? Let's talk about how shitty it was.
It
No.
was awful.
No,
Oh.
I want to point out that the majority of my displeasure of hell comes from the fact that I am role-playing Dawn, and Dawn fucking hates it. I,
Yeah.
as a player, I thought that was mostly cool.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I definitely made some mistake. At some point in the circle of... every circle and every subject, for example, the Circle of Violence, Heresy, and Fraud has 3 guardians, I was to refer to them. The Circle of Traitors had 2 that were twins. And they were basically the first traitors of the world, where they by their actions alone brought the first big humanity, the kingdom of humanity, down by what they did. They basically just caused a gigantic civil war.
Respect the fuck out of that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you can't
like-
knock the hustle.
I mean, well, no, because the society was absolutely like thriving and beautiful and everything, and then he just thought about. They just didn't like the world that much for some reason, and then they just decided to go
Respect the grind, Jurian.
Yeah, they
Stop
definitely
hating.
are very powerful in what they did, but they just kind of like made the world shitty, and it brought the kingdom down. But then they love the nature of trade, like the fact that stuff can go from good, like friends can go from being friends to backstabbing each other. To them is so entertaining, and they themselves are lying pieces of shit. Y'all trusted them to some degree because as if devils...
Well, what other option that we had? They said, hey, you can either go with what we say or we're literally actually gonna kill you.
I mean, you could have
And
decided
so-
to go, well, time to fight.
Yeah, well, do you know why I didn't?
Because they were both
It's
CR26.
it's a little metagamey, I'll be honest. But we were talking in Discord the night before, and you were working on a character sheet, or a stat sheet, and I said, oh, stat sheet, what's it for? Is it for something that we're fighting? You're like, well, it's something that you can fight, but I don't think you should.
Well, I mean-
and I was... And I was sitting there, I was wondering, I wonder what that's gonna be. I'm not gonna ask, but I gotta wonder. And as soon as they showed up, I thought to myself, oh,
Well, the thing though
That's
is,
what it
I
is.
mean, knowing y'all, you could have maybe won, maybe at some loss, but you also didn't
Not
have your
without
cleric.
Alina.
Yeah, the cleric was gone because she was doing something very important.
Yes.
Private life.
not with
Yeah,
a party
for sure.
member now.
With Alina
I think
would
we
be
had
fine.
Alina there, we had a chance.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
just
they
a
decided,
sport.
as devils do, to propose a little game. They were supposed to choose one person out of the group that would be a traitor, and what the group had to do basically is find out who the traitor was, to like, you know, Among Us, whatever. I wasn't inspired by Among Us. I was just inspired by myself. But the
And
thing
so
though
what I'm
is
gonna
like
do
a piece
here
of
is
shit,
called
like
a
like a
lie.
piece of shit. I decided I was just gonna make everyone a traitor, which was a bad choice. Terrible
You know,
choice. It would have been
Like a liar.
it would have
Yeah.
been way better for me to actually choose one traitor and have it go a certain way or whatever. But I was like, haha, what if I... Yeah, it's shitty DM decisions. I would definitely, if I redid that part, would absolutely not do it that way. Because I thought it was going to be interesting. It ended up being just really confusing to...
Yeah, because
to
I
take
think
care
that,
of.
like, we all had different visions of what, like, being a traitor
Yeah.
meant.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
like, Luna was like, I'm going to kill somebody as quickly and as violently as I possibly can. And then I was like, what if we went the wrong direction?
Yeah, it's like you're like
how
Disney villain, and
underhanded.
she's just
Yeah, it
like
was
she's like Bloodborne over here. Like,
Literally, it was like, if we have to go northwest, I want us to go northeast.
oh,
Ooh.
evil! I mean, I guess it's
I
like
know, literally.
Yeah.
And then I got stabbed.
I would
by
also make a
pixies,
different
and it was
decision.
not good.
I
Luca
would
also got
I
stabbed.
would make it so it's the traitor has to go through the door of the place first, so that you have to find out who's a traitor, so that you don't let that person pass the door first. That would be the version I would do today, because it would have been way better to like for the players to actually work together to be like, who's a traitor? Like the person's trying to make the travel more difficult and trying to reach the door first. But the thing though is they can't just go alone forward, because the players would be like, it's a traitor. Basically, everyone has to vote that person to be the traitor. Is what, yeah. You know, we do mistakes, we learn, and that was definitely one of the weakest moments of the entire thing, right next to everything. I mean, it was still.
It
I can't
was
believe. I can't
fine.
believe the shittiest part of Hell was still better than the first half of Meteor's Heart.
True.
That's actually true.
I'm just saying.
Like, you've just gotten better.
Yeah.
You love growth.
I mean, there's no way but up. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I did find it really interesting, though, seeing Hell be done like that. I think when it comes to most campaigns, the most interesting part of going to Hell for any party is how the party reacts to it.
Yeah.
Because everyone can be told, okay, you're going to Hell, prepare yourself to go to Hell. No one's ever actually ready for it to be Hell.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what was my most interesting moment? Like, the only thing I wish is you had actually, like, confronted these creatures at some point while being guided by Dennis.
Right. The shepherds.
They encountered something called the shepherds. They had been informed because Dennis had no choice but to tell them that basically the shepherds are inspired by a Theros creature. I don't remember what they're called. I think the shepherds of souls. And
That
basically
sounds
what
right.
they have is they just keep creatures, like humanoid creatures, and harvest their energy or whatever to like feed themselves. And then they just like saw that and were like, oh my god, we should save them or something. And then someone was like,
It was
well,
Fennec,
aren't
I
they
think.
just...
Yeah,
Aren't
Fennec
they
was
like
the one that
assholes?
piped
They're
up.
in hell. Like why would we save them? They're clearly bad people. They're in the circle of violence, heresy, and fraud. How good can these
And
people
also,
be?
And then I think Dawn added after, like, we also probably shouldn't that. Like, this is literally how the order is supposed to go
yeah,
with things.
Fennec's whole thing is about like protecting the natural order. That's his whole deal. So I think he was the one who was like, "Doot, doot."
Yeah, you were definitely the one that said, hey, maybe we
Yeah.
don't. And then me going, oh, wait, I have to actually be good for the Raven Queen now. I should probably not fuck with the cycle of life and death
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a,
before I
it's-
go fuck with the cycle of life and death.
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
about. It was a very nice moral dilemma. Again, I didn't really think about it when I was making it, but I like the fact that the players basically went like, that actually brings an interesting
something
thing.
Good. Yeah, it's just like, that's actually a cool idea for you as a DM to give your characters those moral questions of like, okay, we can give them someone to save, but make them ask the question, should we actually
Yeah.
save them? Because that's not a question that you get to ask in D&D a lot.
And that's
Yeah.
the kind of thing that you should be confronted with in hell.
In hell, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
It has a similar energy to that. During the Raven Queen thing, I asked a question at some point. I believe we talked about this in a different episode, didn't we?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Basically, in the Raven Queen's castle place, she basically. By the way, I just want to mention,
Pad.
just so you know, that entire like castle thing you saw was for you specifically. She made it. She customized it. It doesn't look like that all the
Really?
time. Yeah, she
Cute.
changes it like she wants. She basically just made that's
Oh,
why the
God,
question. So every
If
single.
she told that to Dawn, she would have felt so special.
Oh, she didn't want you to know. So, in the Raven Queen basically did some sort of like, it wasn't like a full it was a challenge for Dawn to like see if she was worth it. But at the same time, it was also to ask some really nice questions of mine. I'm sure I mentioned that in the... Oh, I believe we talked about it maybe during the Gods or something. But basically, each floor, I asked a question, and one of them had a bunch of statues, and one in the middle. And the question was, would you rather punish an innocent person or see a crime go unpunished? And what happened is every statue had something to say about this one person who apparently stole from a shop, and if that person should be guilty or innocent. But the information given through the statues was not conclusive. In fact, it did go a bit more like, if you are someone who thinks into like innocent until proven guilty, that entire thing absolutely would have proven that person innocent. But that's not a question for the people, it's for the character. It's not the players as a character. So like, as a character, would you rather punish
What?
someone?
Yeah, just this is like as the characters.
Oh, yeah.
Just now I gotta deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's nothing better than if you have a very, very like roleplay heavy party that's to really get into their characters, which I have and I'm very grateful for.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just saying, compliments over here. Positive, good vibes only.
Hear that?
If you can ask a question that makes the players go like, "What would my character do?" It's very good.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
episode
that's
was
a
about
good
hell. I guess it is. But that was a thing. That was one of the questions that like.
Oh, you
truly
guys
just-
thought you were talking about hell the plane. In reality, we were talking about existential hell. Come back to us after the break for us to talk about our deep dive into sorrow as our Meteor's Heart characters for the 12th episode.
Yes, and
More
now
trauma bonding.
we're breaking for ad. Hello. Here is ad Jurian recording on the day of posting, as usual. Just wanted to advertise some new stuff about Homestead Homebrew. First of all, we now have a Twitter if you wish to follow us on there. I manage Twitter, and by that I mean a certain angel is taking care of the Twitter. I will keep people updated on when the episodes are posted or recorded. I'll post some teasers. I'll just inform in general of like future projects. Obviously, it's starting slowly, and I'm busy with other things, but yeah, I'll slowly get into it. Other than that, I want to advertise Aria and I's Twitch streams, Aria games, different games such as League of Legends, also Dragon Ball Z. I'm sure that's the name of it, fighting games. Well, I do more art streams. So I'll either post on the Homebrew Twitter or my own personal, with probably both, when I'm streaming in advance so that people can join or, prepare if they want to come. Typically, otherwise, on my personal Twitter, I do have a schedule that I did write that's on my pinned tweet. So my Twitter is Jurian Chibo, if you want to look. The reason I'm not saying specifically the days here is because it's subject to change in these times. So, and if you want to check Aria's streams, I'll leave all the important links in the description below. Thank you. Back to the stupidity that is Home Sweet Homebrew.
And so I said, that's not a camel, that's my wife. Welcome back to the podcast.
Anyway, you know what I love? Sexist marriages. Anyway,
Yes,
welcome to my personal hell. Welcome back. I hope y'all got the best break ever.
POV, you're Mormon.
Yeah, fully.
Oh, POV, you're a camel.
Scoop. POV, your wife's a camel.
POV, you're a Mormon wife camel.
Yep.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We all had a camel marriage. Welcome to fuck.
Anyway, I don't know where to go from there.
Just so you all know, we all just stared into the void for a nice 2 seconds.
Every one of us just said, okay, now the
what?
next person will carry this along.
Yeah,
they will segue us, and then all three of us said nothing.
That's someone else's job.
That is the moment
we've
where
run
like
out of
everyone's
Elsons.
like, it's like when you play with a party of all heavy armors and someone goes like, time to do a stealth check, and then everyone's like,
Yeah. That was very
so
bad.
Okay, Rogue, time to carry us.
yeah. So hell, Matt,
So hell.
take the chains.
I feel like if you're going to be designing your own hell, I feel like designing your own cosmology in general is really fun. It should like feel unique to your campaign. When it comes to hell specifically, I think it's a really good idea to design a hell specifically for each character. So when I was growing up, I read Harry Potter written by Hatsune Miku, and they have like the boggarts in that, which is like these creatures that take on your greatest fear, and designing like specific hells for each character's greatest fear, or like what would be the most like profound like cosmic punishment for that character, I think is like a very strong route. Because first of all, it's a good way of kind of like fluffing your hell adventure. If you can kind of like, if you have like a 5-character party, it's really easy to get at least 5 juicy sessions out of hell by having each session focus on one character's like personal hell.
Yeah. I just had a thought. If you really want your hell to be extremely effective, one way you can tell, if your players literally laugh or mock like what's happening in hell, you know it's not going the way you want to.
Right.
Like, if you really want it to be a terrifying, hellish experience, you have to basically make your players shake in their boots the entire time.
Okay, but to be fair, what you just described is also how I cope with what exactly Matt's been talking about the entire time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking like, not like nervous laughing or like being like, Dennis, that's your name.
Because that's what Dawn does.
Yeah.
Dawn panics. She tries to play it off. She
Yeah.
panics.
But if you can actually make your players basically kind of fear, like,
Fully, yeah.
what you're making, my hands, God, if there was video, my hands are flailing about. I'm like an actor in a play. The play of life.
Yeah.
So I have a question though. So when you're talking about making a personal hell for each of your characters, are you saying that like you should take hell take your party of 5 or whatever and make hell based on what that party of 5 would fear most? Are you saying that there should be different sections of hell for each of them?
Yeah, I think that hell is like in most works, like D&D or otherwise, hell is usually organized into different layers, different rings, different like things like that. So I think that if you can like flavor each ring for each character, I think it's a really strong way of making it feel like really impactful and unique, because and in traditional Forgotten Realms canon, you have hell and then you have the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
And like the abyss is like chaotic evil, so that's where like the really grotesque and just like generally unpleasant things, and that's where demons come from. That's where like the generally unpleasant things are going to be coming from. There's no focus to the abyss, so it's like with a boggart, if there's a large number of people in the room when it presents itself, it just turns into something gross like an eyeball or like a mummy. But if there's one person that it's focusing on, it becomes that person's specific fear. Also, I feel like that's a good way of differentiating the abyss from...
That's actually a really good
from the lawful
analogy.
hell.
I'd say,
because hell is organized and intentional. It's lawful.
I'd say, though, that the abyss is also layered. And it says... That
there's like hundreds of thousands. There's infinite layers.
Infinite layers. Also, want to bring up a really... Like, when I was doing research for hell, I found a really nice thing. The abyss is not
69?
always like you think. Haha. I think it's like 400 and something or whatever. 420.
69, 420, baby.
Do you get it? Weed is legal in Canada. You can arrest us. Anyway.
So sex.
One of the layer of the abyss was made by this one pale bitch or whatever her name is. Pale Knight. Yeah. But the thing though is she basically made this layer and like wanted to imprison like good creatures in it. But the problem though is that brought angels to be like, don't do that shit. And then that entire place is like in war between demons and angels. Yeah. But the angels are winning. So it's becoming a good aligned plane to the point where there is in the abyss, and they're apparently like, according to, I don't know what the sources are specifically, but according to some sources I guess on the wiki, it says that like, I guess if this plane becomes good enough, it'll literally leave the abyss and go somewhere. Like basically it'll just like become a part of like Celestia or some shit.
It'll like
weird.
Detract itself from
the
that,
abyss.
Like,
so like it means that the planes of the abyss, hell, and everything are actually influenced by the actions of the people in it.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
because that completely supports what you were.
Yeah, which also means that like hell and the abyss are ever changing, which absolutely supports the idea that you should make a hell that feels both very personal to the players and very impersonal, as if it's already been there for a while.
Yeah.
Like what you said was a good idea.
It does not feel for you specifically.
Right, exactly.
It's built to torture you, but it does not feel for you.
Right.
And you are not special.
And that's what I think what you want your hell to be like. Because also, like, in Greek mythology, anytime that you hear about a character being sent to the underworld, there's always a very specific punishment that they're... like undergoing, so like Sisyphus rolling the rock up the hill ad nauseum.
You mean Itsy Bitty Spider?
Yeah, the Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Which someone actually was like in a call and went, Itsy Bitty Spider is just a very childlike version of Sisyphus, and I was like,
yeah. But yeah, so like, and I also think that you probably want to like, if you're gonna be designing hell encounters and like hell experiences, have the hell setting specific to your character. So like if you were to make a specific hell for Fennec, it would be very like mechanical and like developed. Because he values like wilderness and like untouched nature. So an absence of that would be like a hellscape for Fennec. And then the kind of like trials and tribulations, Fennec has this like obsession with like responsibility and like failure. So having those things as the stakes would be like his personal hell. And then adding to that, I think it's great to create challenges that's like specifically target the the character's strengths. So if you have like an incredibly acrobatic rogue, like you're gonna like be testing the rogue's acrobatics, and if they like fail at acrobatics after like maybe like acrobatics check after acrobatics check to eventually get a failure.
With this idea, please make sure your rogue does not have reliable talent unlocked, or else they will not be able to fail your checks.
Yeah, there's, I guess the rogue specifically.
I guess I would make it more. I would make it more. It's not about if you fail or succeed your like your checks or saving throws or whatever.
Yeah.
I would make it more that just the effort of doing that. Like, oh, you want to climb the wall? I hope you like the fact that the entire wall is exclusively spikes, you whore. Like,
right. Or it's like an infinite wall because like hell can do that kind of thing.
Yeah,
you're
just, like, space
you're an
change.
incredible climber. Well, it's like you're an incredible climber and you have a horrible fear of loss. Your party is like trapped.
There's a comic
in a slowly in a glass ball slowly filling with water, and you have to climb to them. But like the more you climb, the higher the wall seems to be getting.
And then you just have that rogue, and you have them keep rolling. Yeah. They keep rolling their 25s. But eventually, after the 10th 25, you're getting pretty tired.
Yeah. So I think that like
exhaustion,
subverting the character's greatest strength while playing on their deepest fears is a really good way of having the player experience
That's such a good way to put it.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the strength.
For some reason, now I almost want, when the campaign's over, I would almost want to give, like, you've explored the entirety of Meteor's Heart. Make a resume of what you would have done for the entirety of Meteor's Heart, and I would love to see, like, how different every one of you would have DM'd it.
I already have that for the Feywild on my
I mean, obviously, the Feywild was trash. One day we'll actually have a full episode specifically about the Feywild and how to do it.
Just the Feywild retcon.
Yeah, because the Feywild was pure trash. But that actually is amazing. I didn't use the inherent evil of the plane enough. I made it too, as always, I make it too character focused. I make it so it's like characters being shitty. I should seriously consider making the planes just really noxious to everyone.
I think that also with for Fennec specifically, like he's like a horrible fear of failure, and like his speed is kind of his greatest strength, and then his inability to like connect with people and like be charismatic is one of his greatest weaknesses. If I was going to design a hell for Fennec, there would be some like very, very high stakes where like if he fails, his like friends like are gone. But then I would incorporate some kind of like charisma something.
So,
and if he like fails charisma, his like speed is reduced. Or something.
By the way, here
so
we
like,
have
exploit the weaknesses, make their strengths not good enough, and then the stakes need to be like their greatest fear. I feel like if you're going to create personal hells, that's kind of a really good formula.
That's
okay. So what we just witnessed here is something called a lie, as Matt just tried to imply that Fennec is not charismatic.
Okay.
Okay.
Officially.
Fennec is not charismatic.
Okay. Here's
whenever Fennec rolls,
Fennec has a +1 to charisma, but he's played by Matt Healy, so I don't. They don't add up.
We've officially learned one more
things.
information about Matt. The enigma is getting thinner.
Oh no.
By the way, that was the moment.
Eventually we'll learn the true
My
name.
power is weak.
Very, very slight tangent. I always found it so funny that every time I would write, I don't write Meteor's Heart every time I talk about the campaign. I write MH. But every time I would write MH, I would get Matt being like, I get weirded out every time. I'd be like,
every single time. I'm like, am I being yelled at?
It's like,
yes.
Wow, MH is so shitty. And you're like, is this a personal attack?
Wow.
But yeah, that's actually amazing. I should have. Well, the thing though, I think Fennec would have suffered if I made y'all go through one of the circle you skipped because of the Raven Queen was actually a swamp. It would have been real shit. It's like trees that are alive and made of people and swamp water. Oh, want to have a fun fact? The reason why the trees are made of people is because they're the people who are lust. And so it's like, oh, you want it to be all close together? Form a tree. Form a tree. Be nature.
That would have been really good for Fennec.
But I didn't because I was like, well, I might as well skip because I didn't have a lot of information about. I didn't have a lot of stuff
How
prepared.
to traumatize the druids 101.
Carry that.
Oh god, I also slowly realized every time I skip such interesting things, like I realized I shouldn't have skipped this because I've been so good. But that was one of the things I decided to skip was the two first like I limbo and then two circles I decided to skip just because it was going to be...
I would like to also add, it's not entirely your fault that you skip stuff. It's also because we've been playing like bitches.
Yeah, well, it's also because
we
it's like
really
I
don't want to die.
I also can't... I mean, as interesting as it would
Apparently.
be, I can't have you play through hell for 15 sessions. Way too long. It's like... Normally, if I decided to go really ham, the entirety of hell should have been at least a good 10 sessions. But I also didn't want hell to be 10 sessions.
Yeah. Because also, if you think about it, like, if you had, like, 15 sessions in hell, that's, like, 4 months.
Yeah.
Where your characters are in.
I would also... Yeah, it's also a good point, just, like, a lot of hell loses its hit when it's overdone.
Yeah.
Like, you can only be hurt to the point where it then has to hurt you more.
Yeah.
Which you can do for a short period.
You're eventually gonna jump the shark.
But you're eventually gonna jump the
yeah,
shark.
but you can't use someone's fear. Also, one thing I'd say though is at the same time, using fears can be a little bit dangerous because I'm pretty sure that one of my player, both her character and her are extremely afraid of spiders, like arachnophobia level.
That's a good thing to bring up.
I'm not that kind of bitch that's going to be like, here's a spider boss, because
so
I don't want to.
Fennec, I know you don't care, but hey Matt, we're gonna make an ocean creature.
Right?
Level. Just for you.
Not it.
Yeah, that'd be the worst.
Yeah, it's like
you can find those like tabletop like consent forms that like have a whole like outline of different things that you might be comfortable or uncomfortable encountering.
Yeah,
I actually you're gonna be running a hell.
I actually plan to make like probably like a more specific form for the next campaign I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
Specifically to put core ideas of what I'm going to do and what I need to like kill immediately. Yeah. For example, an ocean planet. The thing is if I would do an ocean planet, I would probably take into account the fact that you hate those things and like
real squeam.
No, I wouldn't do it like deep sea. I would more do it like normal fishes.
Totally.
Yeah, like we're on the top the whole time.
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah,
I mean, so you
really
could
go to like, the deep end, but like it's just dangerous. Also, because you need to you can affect characters. But players also need to feel. Like, you need to actually feel what your character's feeling to be able to roleplay it well. So, like, I can't just be like, Fennec is so afraid of bees, but, like, you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, why would you care?
So I think you have to toe the line between keeping your players, like, feeling safe and comfortable while still, like, challenging the characters. Because when you're in character, if you've committed to your character being afraid of something and that fear is presented... It's kind of on you as a player to like commit to the roleplay.
Yeah,
and not be like, I know that I wrote on my sheet that he's afraid of fire, but like it's really inconvenient for me right now to like not like fire, so I'm just gonna make my character okay with fire. Like,
it's a lot to ask as well to the players. That's just kind of
shitty on you as a player.
Yeah,
I'd say the two as well. That's why I almost prefer working. I mean, I know it's shitty. It's gonna sound shitty, but I prefer working with more mental. I guess fears, not like physical. Like I'm not gonna put spiders because who cares? I can do a campaign without spiders. But the thing though is I would do more like I might feel a failure, like the betrayal or like the fact that you have to kill someone who doesn't deserve to die in order to save the rest of the world. It's like a sacrifice for like it's like one person for a million. That to me works a lot better because it's dilemmas that are very easy to translate to just people normal.
Yeah.
There's a difference between creating a good hell and being an asshole.
Very that.
Yeah.
And then also it ties down to the difference between like an abyss moment and a hell moment where
it's
like being trapped in like a pit of giant like mandible clicking spiders is like grotesque and unpleasant, and that's very abyss. But that's not like a hell punishment where It's like that's not like a cosmic celestial
Yeah,
punishment.
no,
moment. That's
you're
just, like,
supposed to
unpleasant.
know why you're getting punished.
Yeah.
The abyss is just
Eaten into you.
being in a place that's just absolute vitriol for your existence. Hell is specifically your
Yes, exactly.
existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's
That's not lawful evil.
Yep, lawful. It's actually, I feel like that's a very important thing to mention about any of the negative hell-like planes, like at the Abyss, Pandemonium, the Nine Hells. It's important to remember where they fall on the alignment. Because that's actually really, really important when creating hell for your game. It kind of ties back to what I was saying about choosing the right one for you.
I would have to say, though, I have very, very huge feelings about the element charts, and we already
Oh,
have,
yeah, duh. I'm not saying, like, oh, yeah, go, like...
No, of course.
We can all talk about the alignment chart and then disagree with it for the 15th time in
absolutely.
conversation. But we're transcending that altogether. Just keep that in mind when you're creating the plane itself. Cosmically have fun. That won't work for your campaign because you took hell and you combined them all together.
I would say, though,
For Forgotten
I think...
Realms itself.
Oh, sorry. Very sorry.
For Forgotten Realms, it's more important to keep in mind, like, the alignment of the plane. For you, specifically, you kind of, like, squish them all together. That's less important for you because that's not what you were trying to do. But I'm saying that is what you're trying to do. That's something important to keep.
Oh, yeah. One thing I'd say, though, I would say planes are probably the one thing that I will absolutely agree with you about element chart because they're planes.
Yeah.
And because they specifically
They
fit
represent
a
universal
concept.
concepts and not, like, a box to put your character.
I can't believe alignment charts fit more planes than people. But yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
People
sense
don't
because
align
it's
like
like,
that.
it actually is perfect because it actually helps a lot to know what the plane is about. Like, if it's chaotic evil, aka the Abyss, you know shit's gonna really suck. But lawful evil, it's like, oh, I'm gonna make that shit suck, but in a very specific manner. It's gonna suck for you.
Yeah.
Lawful evil is almost more terrifying than chaotic evil because it's.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's intelligence
chaotic
behind
evil,
it.
you know, you can kind of just like it's like force versus force.
Yeah. One feels like it's random, the other is capitalism.
Yeah.
That's why I used a certain enemy, Belashira, from the Eberron book for the Abyss, because that bitch is basically just like, I'll use eyes, like whatever.
Yeah.
But
But a good way to put it is the planes use an alignment chart, players use an alignment spectrum.
Yes.
Yeah, very that.
Yep. It is like one of those grids, like one of those like political compass, but for element. Because I don't know.
Things to make your Facebook friends hate you.
Yeah.
Wow, my brain just blanked super hard.
I think. Is there anything else anyone else want to touch on when it comes to hell? Any general concepts or something you've been maybe thinking of for a future game or?
Oh, I
one
do.
shot or
I
something?
do. I just realized something. One thing I forgot to touch on: creatures in hell. Planar entities in general work very differently. AKA, when an elemental is on the material plane, when they die, they don't disappear. They get thrown back into their original plane. And hell has this weird kind of like, I guess, hierarchy. Like, every devil and demons or whatever, like, they're not just like, they're born a bone devil. They're kind of just like a soul that can like either get demoted or upgraded. So like, for example, Lemures are, well, I believe Lemures are supposed to be like souls of the damned, but like, I find it interesting the fact that like life in hell for the devils is like way more unique than just like born
It's
die.
very hierarchical. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Hierarchical.
Hierarchical. That sounds better.
Hierarchical.
Yeah. The point is that the hell is set up very hierarchy based.
Yeah.
AKA,
yeah,
like, that's why devils are lawful evil. They're just basically trying to fuck each other up.
Yeah, it's a lawful
to
evil.
become,
That's
like,
why there's a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how hard arc devils are born and everything. Because arc devil were just a different types of devil that just like really upgraded.
The other cool thing about them being lawful creatures is that they can want things.
Yes.
And they can be manipulated using those wants.
Yep.
That's actually pretty important for
It
devils.
also means
Yeah,
that
so that's like, it's a good way of navigating interactions with devils. From a player's perspective, you can kind of get the upper hand by toying with the things that you know devils want, which is always just power and climbing the ranks, which we kind of did. We kind of played Dennis to a degree. By kind of,
well, that's
taking that
also
angle.
Pact in general.
You can play the
Pact of the
sisters, that'd be
Fiends
great.
is
Yeah.
more for devils than demons, for warlocks.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just
100%.
a devil is supposed to, in I
Devils
guess
love
normal
warlock
circumstances,
pacts.
Yeah.
they're supposed to respect the rules that you put
It's
on
actually,
them.
unless I'm mistaken, I believe it mentioned somewhere that demons love making warlock pacts, or that devils love making warlock pacts. Demons fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Demons
Oh,
hate
absolutely.
it.
Of course, demons hate
Devils
it. Why would they want to rely on
love
someone
it.
else?
Yeah.
The demons are way more like solo, I guess.
Yeah.
They're more independent.
no,
Devils
a devil
are aware
knows
they
that they
need a
can
number.
use you.
Yeah.
Yeah. A demon's very different.
Yeah, it's actually a very nice dichotomy. Because I used to be an idiot. I used to not realize what the difference was between devils and demons. Because I was like, they're all fiends, and it's like, well, maybe
Yeah.
not actually.
Not all
I
fiends.
feel when you don't read the DMG.
It's almost like it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like I've been reading the D&D books like an absolute madman for literal years, like 3.5 and everything. But then
Yeah.
I'm over here and like a year and a half into Meteor's Heart, I'm like, psychic winds, astral plane. Wait, there's
Psychomantis?
there's a deep ethereal. Wait, Carcery
God.
is not the same thing as hell. Like,
Very good.
It can't believe it's not butter.
it's margarine.
Do you guys know there's magic items in this thing? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my
Y'all hear about the immovable rod? Okay, I want to hijack this real quick. So
Go on.
I want to take the end of this to talk about something completely unrelated to hell.
That didn't even happen in hell.
It did
Oh.
not even happen in
Oh,
hell.
well, you
I
got
just
it in
wanna
hell.
well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait to tell us so we have our Meteor's Heart recap.
Oh, you're
episode.
On the
damn
reunion
it!
episode?
Wow,
Yeah.
get hyped, everyone!
Dang.
I
just
can't wait.
baited everyone.
I absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what should
Tune
happen?
in next week, fools.
Those recaps, we need to record them live with everyone.
Of course.
Damn, I
Like
would.
the whatever recap we're having is just going to be a mess of all of us talking over each other
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah,
about
yeah.
an hour.
And then people.
I think that we can do an entire podcast episode where we perform all of the abridged that Frank has saved.
Well, I mean, I wanted to animate those at some point. Like,
That's so
but like that's a lot of effort.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Just.
I'd do
Oh
it.
god, get hyped,
What if
everyone.
what if
And
we all
again-
made cosplays for our characters and LARPed them? That'd be funny.
Yeah, haha, it'd be so funny
Oh.
if we all LARPed our characters, haha.
Uh-huh.
You know what? You know what? I will. I
Yeah.
will leave. I will leave the podcast
Any
on a.
excuse
On
to our
a
horns.
I will leave the podcast on something, because I did mention it very briefly, but I think it's a very important thing. I don't believe in determinism, I guess.
God.
I don't believe.
I don't believe in hell.
Oh my god, I don't believe in myself. I don't believe in.
I'm the 99 people in the room who don't believe in you.
Damn.
Wow!
Wow, we were learning things today. I don't believe in, like, something happens. Zariel, who's on the cover of Descent to Avernus, and in general a very prominent figure, is a fallen angel. Really typical story trope of basically, like, you know, Lucifer and everything. Like the angel that fell and became the devil. Or
A
whatever.
classic.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a good
Why
fall from
don't we
grace.
hear about the opposite of risen demons or risen devils? So in my thing, basically at some point, the
In my
players
TED
heard,
Talk, I
Yeah.
will.
yeah,
In
the
this
players
essay, I will.
heard about someone or a devil called Vragnas,
Oh,
and they were like,
right.
"Oh, well, I guess." So apparently, he was someone who got like lost his power, as in like he had like an army, and then like that shit went wrong or something, and then he was like a lazy piece of shit that like didn't work for himself, and was like hiding somewhere in the glacial hell. And so the players were like, "Well, let's use him for the bullet we need to build to kill God."
Yeah, for the record, we had to kill a
CR20.
At least
CR20, yeah.
Mechanically CR20, but to us a powerful either demon, dragon, creature, something.
Yeah,
something swole.
that had a core or a heart. Okay, an elemental would work because it's like a core of magic. So, when they reached Ragnus, they encountered a really weird situation where like Fennec literally killed 4 people in like one
So
single
mad.
like action, and was like, well, that was really really easy. And then
I felt bad
people
about that.
praying, they basically encountered a bunch of devils that were in a church built for Auril. I believe she's either neutral, evil, or chaos. She's just the goddess of winter, and like harsh blizzard or whatever. And they basically just thought themselves as, I want to suffer the punishment so I can become better. AKA,
Right.
they wanted to stop being evil. Atonement, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So they encountered. They
And then
ended
I
up.
killed
They
them.
didn't end up killing much more people. They ended up just like kind of like letting these people alone while they were like, one of them was praying like this like really nice prayer, like this gigantic like bull devil, and eventually they met Ragnus, who was like, you know what? If you want this bullet, if you want my heart to whatever, I understand, but you will have to go through me. And so they killed him. But the players had to go to be like, I guess we had to do this.
Yeah.
But this person
Yeah.
doesn't deserve to die because he's trying to become better. And the thing though is the church is gonna continue with just someone else. But yeah, I just find it more interesting. I really 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 like having those kinds of situations where it's like, I want to subvert expectations in a way that makes sense. AKA, I want a devil that's trying to be better.
Yeah.
A good
Yeah.
devil's so cool. It's so cool. And an evil angel is as cool, the same. That's why in another campaign I player in, there is a type of angel, I believe also from a Baron, that's basically when an angel discovers that they want to be idolized. And so they kind of just like defect from their god, and they become something called a rated idol, which they just charm people into worshipping them instead.
That's cool.
It's a very nice thing. But yeah, just I hope this episode was helpful.
Yeah.
At least
And
it
all
was
of its
entertaining.
rambly goodness as all Home Sweet Homebrew episodes are.
And thanks to our viewer Lilith. I'm talking to you directly.
Yeah, she was here last week.
I hope you get.
Never
I
got
hope
to
you're
say
called
hi.
out. No, I
hope you
hope.
feel called
I
out.
hope everyone who watched was entertained, and thanks a lot
Yeah.
for watching.
Thanks for tuning in.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
We'll have another episode out before a millennia passes this time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yup, we
Any
swear.
plugs?
We promise. We'll be good. So yeah. Hi.
All right. Bye, everyone.